Hey everyone, thank you so much for joining me on a Wednesday. It's great to see you all so early. And we got Rajnesh 2 hours early, Misha half an hour early, Bob 5 minutes early, and Tech Squid Kyle is early as well. So I thought, you know what? I'm here, I'm ready, you're ready. Let's start. So today is going to be an interesting one. We are going to be doing some coding and we're going to be working on the health check project. Let me know if you can see my screen okay and the audio and everything is fine. So yeah, we're going to be working on the health check project, but we're going to actually be doing some really interesting things. And I need your help. I need your help on this to see how we can make projects more friendly. But let me give you a quick recap on the project and then it will make more sense. So I'll start at the end and then go to the beginning. I think that's the best way to do it. So what we're going to do today is we're going to add some repos. I've just picked our health check project as an example. We will pick other projects. And if you've got projects that you want to, for me to run through, then we can do that. And what it's going to do, it checks like description. Is it a good length of description? In the future, we could use some AI on that, do some smarter checks, but for now, we'll keep it simple. For example, the health check, we haven't deployed it yet. It hasn't got a URL, so it's showing it as red as an error. And with topics, it tries to see, have you got some topics, but not too many? And in this case, it's giving me a warning. It's saying maybe try to include more topics. And then activity, I think it checks has there been activity on the project in the last 30 days. And then issues. And we've got some more we want to add today. I think I've got 3 or 4 I want to add. Hopefully, you've got some suggestions on things that we can add as well. So what is this project about? Well, the idea is to check how friendly an open source project is. So as a maintainer, they can say, well, I could improve my project by following these steps. That's the idea. So I built this project about 2 weeks ago now. I think it's about 2 weeks old. It's been super, super interesting. We're using Next.js for the full stack app. We're using Prisma for the ORM. We're using Postgres for the database, and we're using Flagsmith to manage the feature flags and other important items. Like, for example, we cache the data at the moment for 24 hours from GitHub's API. I was thinking maybe if for certain type of user, like a maintainer or someone a maintainer who maybe wants to test in production, maybe they would have caching for like 5 minutes or no caching. And that can be managed by Flagsmith. So at the moment, I've only got 3 feature flags. I think when people think of feature flags, what do you think of? I know I think of like A/B testing, but I'm interested to know what you think of. But you can use this for the tagline. So at the moment, for example, our tagline here, you can say, how friendly is your open source repo? And if I go to the repo and go to the home page, that appears, where is it? How friendly is your open source repo? So that appears here. And if this was deployed and you wanted to make a change to that, you would then make a change, get run all the GitHub actions, get a release, it gets deployed and so forth. And it could take, 10, 15 minutes and so on. And maybe you don't even have access to merge the pull request. Whereas here, you can make changes and get immediate changes in the UI. And in this case, it's a string. It could be even JSON. So these are some of I'm not using this feature flag at the moment. I was just, I think on the previous live stream showing that you can actually have JSON or YAML as well. So if we did some new checks and I wanted to test it in production, maybe I would call this flag, public checks. And it would only show the ones that were in this array, and any new ones wouldn't be shown. But I could either have another one which said maintainer checks, or I could do things like with identity. So if they've got a certain email address, which we are going to do in the near future, I want to do a whole admin backend. And I was just thinking, how can I determine if the person gets the access to the admin pages? And I was thinking, I can have an environment variable, but then if I want to change that environment variable, I want to add someone like a maintainer, then I need to redeploy so it can pick up the new environment variables. But if I run it here, then I had a feature flag that maybe was, again, an array of usernames or email addresses or whatever we decide to check, then I could just update the feature and immediately it would appear, the admin pages would appear for that person. So that's the idea. Hey, Praduma, how you doing? Awesome to have you here as well. So yes, so we're going to be using more feature flags, features in the future. But for today, I want to build on the checks. This is what I want to build on. So what you do is you add a repo, add a URL, and then it goes to your repos page. This you can see, this is the one I added before the live stream. And then you can even get a badge to put in your README, but at the moment it is localhost. So because it hasn't been deployed yet, I will be deploying this hopefully next week. And then that is the checks, like historically, because a month ago your results might be better or worse, and you can see how it's improving over time. And then this is the checks. And just before the live stream, as you can see, I've got 9 changes, and I will commit those in small segments. Don't worry, I won't do a big commit. But I actually got some more data from GitHub, so it will help us to do some extra checks. So I'll be interested to know, for people watching, what makes a friendly repo to you. So one of the ideas that I had was we could check if they've got if there's any open issues, but I was thinking we could check, do they have any issues that are open, they've got the label good first issue, and also that it's not assigned, because if it's assigned, then it doesn't help. So what I did before the live stream, I created a test issue. You can see here, test and good first issue. And then if I bring up the database, you will see that I actually now saving the issue request that I get, or the response I get back from GitHub. And this is the one issue that we have. So we will try it maybe on some other projects that have some more, and we can see. So we do get this one issue. We don't get the other issue because it's assigned and because it hasn't got the label good first issue. So this was the test that I wanted to do. Let me just share the repo in the chat so you can also have a look as well, and let me know. Yeah, a good README is really important. I think that's definitely really important. I mean, do they have a README? That's probably the first check. There are some repos that don't have it. Is it a good README? How can we check that? Do we need? I don't want to bring any AI into it, if possible, but I know there's a lot of value with that. So, yeah, I'd be interested to know what you all think. What makes a good README, and how could we check that? So yeah, I think that's important. I wrote a blog post on what I think makes a good README recently, but it would also be good to know what you think as well. So yeah, I want to check our releases being used. I think releases are important. Our packages being used, and if not, hide it. You can see there are no packages here, so it's being hidden, although we will be using it soon. Things like that. I've got quite a few ideas on how to declutter the repo. But let me show you how you add a check. So if you want to add a check, you could as well. So how do you add a check? Well, in the checks folder under utilities, we have this index, and these are the checks that it performs. And you don't have to worry about anything else in this file. All you actually need to worry about if you wanted to add a check is you would add a new file, and we'll do that together in a minute. We'll add some checks in. And if I open, say, description, oh, that's quite a long one. Let me pick a smaller one. Let me see, activity. So all it needs to do is return. Actually, I wrote it in a comment up here. The check function in its new file needs to return an ID, a href, but you can ignore that for the moment because I need to tweak that. A title, which is what you see on here. So you've got descriptions, the visual title, the status. So you can do all the kind of checks you want in your function, but you just return a status, either success, warning, or error, description, and then there's an extra, which is maybe the next step suggestion. So if we go to activity, I've got here configured minimum 7 days, maximum 30 days. Again, we could put that in Flagsmith if we wanted to, and therefore each time I wanted to tweak that or even change it for different types of users, maintainer, not premium, not, like whatever it is, you can decide on what that is. You could change that. And then I set the default response here. These are the ones that aren't going to change. So the ID and the title, and again, the href, ignore for now. But if the diff, so if the difference in the last push date that I get from GitHub is less than the minimum, so less than 7 days, it's a success. If it's between 7 days and 30 days, it's a warning. And then if it's more than the maximum, it's returning an error. And again, take these numbers with a pinch of salt. We need to tweak it. It's just something as an example that I'm using for now. And then you return it. And then in the index file, you would add it to add the function to this collection, this array here. And then all the magic, it will automatically appear on this page. Russ, shall we add one? What do you think? Should we do one next and see? Hey, Rajneesh, how you doing? At least check it exists. I think that's a really good start. I think there's a few things we need to check that exist. Maybe contributing guide. So we need to see README, contributing guide, license. So we probably need to see on where on GitHub's API we could get that from. I need to have a look. Maybe there's like a files check, or there's maybe the insights might have an API as well. So that could be quite interesting. And I want to go further than the Insights tab. So the Insights tab shows us when we should probably include these community standards. We should probably include these. Is a security policy, license, contributing guide, code of conduct, README. So I wonder if there's an API for that on GitHub. We could just display these. But I want to go even further. I want to kind of basically almost like this page, but on steroids, like so much more details. So it's a good place to start. But I want to do the good first issue one first. I think that's quite interesting. So let's have a look. So like I said, in the database, I've got the result, if there is a good first issue, and I've got some repos on GitHub that haven't got that. So we'll see the error so we can check it all works. So what I suggest we do is we create a new check, and we should maybe just call it, I don't know, good first issue. And we're going to check that it's not assigned and all the rest, but we can start with this. So export default function, good first issue. If we were using TypeScript, we could make an interface and then use the adapter design pattern to check that this all works. But at the moment we're using JavaScript, maybe we'll convert it in the future. Yes, cool project. Thank you so much. I really hope this helps maintainers. I've done a lot in the past for contributors, and I really want to try and use my experience and help maintainers as well. So, but I need everyone's feedback for that as well. So let's have a look. So if we go to the other one, actually no, we can actually go to here, and I can actually just copy this. This is what we want to return as an example. So good first issue. So we could do. Let's have a look. We can say let response equals, and we can go delete these. That's the problem of copying a comment. So we can let that equal there. And then the extras and the status, this is all going to change. So we're going to remove that. Let me remove the comments. So the ID for this one will be, I think, good first issue. Like I said, the href ignore for now. Title will be good first issue. And then the description and the next steps will change. So it depends on the check. So what we'll need to do, this gets passed in the repo, but on this case, we actually want to get passed in the issues. So there actually will be a change we'll need to make for this. So when we pass in the checks, we pass in the repo, but we want to pass in the issues as well. So we will have to add that in a second. So I think if we say, we probably need to do a minimum and maximum again, right? So if we do const min, like what's the minimum amount of unassigned open good first issues is a good recommendation? 3, I think. Is there a max? Then there might not be. I don't know. Maybe just minimum of 3. Let's start with that. So if issues.length, because it will be an array in a database, is less than minimum, so it could be 0, 1, 2, not 3 though, maybe equal to minimum, then what we want to do is, what was the other ones we want to return? Description, status, description, and extra. So we could say response, let's be consistent. How do we do it here? We did a dot syntax, okay. So we could say status would be warning or error, maybe warning, I think. And in that case, let's do it as greater than 0. So if it's 0, it should be an error. Maybe that's the case we want to do it. Let me finish this and we'll see. What do you all think in the chat? At 365 days, your project died. Yeah, I didn't notice that before, that comment. Yeah, I don't know, active projects, maybe monthly, I would have thought. I don't know. So we've got warning. I think if it's greater than 0, actually, let's change that. So if it's greater than 0, but and issues length is less or equal to minimum, then it's a warning. And then response description should be this. And then let's just duplicate that and we'll go extra. So we could say, how have we done activity? Let's have a look. Your project is active. Your project needs more recent activity. So we could say, as this is a warning, try to add more issues with the label good first issue. Try to add more issues, extras. And then what did we do on activity? We kind of said some suggestions. These need to be open and not already assigned. I think that kind of makes sense. So that's that. And then if we, let's just duplicate this again. I'm a lazy coder, so let's duplicate that. We'll put a line break between it, and this condition will be 0. And then let's remove obviously that. And this would be error. Like if there's no good first issue, should we consider it an error? And we can say description, you have no open and unassigned good first issues. Try to, or maybe another about next step, but maybe you will not be appearing in the issue and label search on GitHub, something like that. It's not necessarily a next step. I should maybe, that's probably more the result. I need to work on the wording. Let's see. How long have you been coding on a live stream? Like it's not easy and you make it look so smooth. I make it look terrible. I think I struggle so much, but I really appreciate that, Bob. Many years, I think I started like 4 years ago and I was horrible. I did Twitch for 6 months, didn't really grow. So then moved to, I was doing YouTube videos, I think ish. So I did my live streams on YouTube. And I think having one platform makes it better. But Bob, you're welcome to join me on a live stream and we can review people's open source projects, or we could code on this project together. It would be great to have you to join. And we compare on this. So let's see. So if it's 0, we're going to say error. If it's greater than 0 but less than 3, that's what equals to 3, it's going to be a warning. And then I suppose if it's more than 3, it's green. Remember, these are not just issues with the label good first issues. They've got to be open and they've got to be unassigned as well. So let's do success, and that is if it's greater. Oh, what have I done? I don't think we need a max. So greater than that. So that will be success. Great, you have open issues with the label good first issue that are ready to be assigned, rather than saying not already assigned. Just make it a bit different. No steps required. What did I say in activity? Let's have a look. No action required. No action required. Okay, so in theory, I need to get at the data, and then we can see if it appears on this page. So let's have a look. So there is issues, but it's not that one. This is good first issue is the title that we gave it. So it will appear differently. So we've got the repo check. So we also need to now pass in get the issue data from the database and pass it in. Let's have a look. Where do we call the checks file? This is my memory is terrible. So it's probably a good idea to watch how I do things, because my memory is so bad. I like use things like search, and you can see I've purposely opened the bracket. So it's where we call the function. So here, where we call the function, checks is here. Okay. Yes, we save the checks in the database. So therefore, you've got that history, which I think is really important. So we can perform an extra check in a minute, because you can actually go to this page and you can click on run check, and it should run it with the new check. I hope. Let's see how it goes. Is everyone following along? Let's have a look. So we now we call the checks and we pass in just the repo, but we also need to pass in the issue. which is in the same table. So in theory, I wonder if we could just skip that and pass the whole thing through. And then we would have to update all the checks though. Because all the checks now, okay, maybe we do that. I'll do that in a separate kind of piece of work. I will, because we've only got 2 at the moment, but as we get more, maybe we have, so if I go to Prisma, you can see in our schema, in the GitHub response, we had repo before, and today I added issues. And it's optional, whereas the repo is required. So it was, refactoring is an important part of the project, and we've got 2 here. It's not the end of the world, but as we get 3 or 4 responses, we probably just want to just pass the whole lot in. So that should be fine. So we'll pass it into checks. So I like to organize my files so in order. So it's where checks is called, then it's the check here. So here we can pass in issues, and none of them need issues apart from good first issues. So now we can go good first issue, and that needs the issues, and hit save. Okay, so I think that all looks okay because we have the data already. We're passing it into the checks. The results will save it. We're not saving the results separately. We're saving all the results. So any questions, let me know in the chat, and I will answer them. So I think that should work. What do you think? Did we cache this at all? I don't think we do. Let me see. Only the GitHub data is cached. I don't think this is cached. So when I hit run check, should hopefully not get an error. We got an error. Issues is not a function. I didn't touch issues, did I? Oh, there's name clash. Name clash. Yes. Okay. Here you go. Name clash. Aha. So this is the issue data, and this is the issue check. So, it wouldn't be live if there weren't bugs. So I've created a bug here. So how would you solve this? Would you rename the check to be like issues check and have all of them, all the checks be appended with check, or change this to say issues data? How would you solve it? There are 2 ways. I don't think there is a good or a bad or correct or better way. So we could go issues data. Oh, didn't mean to do that. We could go issues, data, response, etc. Or we could put at the end of these check. I don't know which one I like. I hate naming stuff. Wow, I like this. This really highlights how much I don't like naming stuff. You need to help me with naming stuff. So if you're there in the chat, say hi and let me know if you like naming stuff. And if you do, then help me. If you don't, then let me know, because I'll realize that I'm not the only person in that same boat. So let's have a look. Do I put check against all of them, or do I just change this data? What do we think? Bob is here, and Bob doesn't like naming stuff. Yes, it's not just me. Thank you, Bob. I appreciate it. I've got a third option. Okay. This is why talking through things with Robert Dark or someone else or the community, like you awesome people, and Bob's still awake, so thank you so much. I think everyone else has fallen asleep. It really helps. So I've got an idea. Rather than passing it as parameters, let's pass it in as an object. So, because then I could separate them. Let me see. Does that work? Pass it in as an object, or I could just actually pass in the whole lot. Let me just see if this works. I don't know if it works. Pass in the whole object, hit save, and then in here, it'll be the whole object. So it'll be data. And then in here, I could then pass data.repo and then data.repo. Let me copy and paste that. So I'll prepend those all with data.repo. And this becomes data.issues because it will match up with what we had here. I think that will work. Should we try it and find out? What do you all think? Out of 10, like, is it an 8 is going to work, or is it like a 2? Like which part of the scale do you like? Adding checks. Yeah, I think it makes it consistent, like adding checks, like it's clear. It's issues check. Like it's not data, it's not anything like that. I think that could work as well, adding check to all of these. I know it's in the path, but still, I think just it makes it crystal clear. Let's give this go and see. So if I refresh this page, you can see we've only got one check from an hour ago before the live stream, because the one we just did, we got an error. It didn't save anything and failed. So let's see, fingers crossed, if I hit check again, we got another error. Okay. This is why we got the other error. Okay. The reason we did this is because I changed this to data and I updated these, but I didn't update what was down here. This is the problem. So you can see on line 38, I am checks. What did it break? Status. Yes, because, okay. I think I probably made this more complicated than it needs to be. Give me a moment. Let me think. And I think we might have to go with what Bob is supporting and just append checks to all of those. I just have to rename all those files and it's just going to look like a bigger commit. So, let's see. And I could temporarily just name it issues data or something like that. But the problem with that is I worry it just stays. And then we've got like a mismatch. So I don't think my quick solution is a good idea. Let's have a look. Let me think. We could always do a console log and just have a look. Line 38. So what we're passing in here in check summary is checks. Oh, that's not a good naming as well, Eddie, because that kind of conflicts. I know the scope is different, so it's a bit different, but I don't like that naming. It's similar. So we get away with it because of the scope, but I don't like that either. Let's see. So it doesn't like checks. And what changed was this one. I'm pretty sure I'm returning the right structure. Oh, that's why it broke. There's no return on this. Okay, no, we might be okay. So we might be all right. I didn't do a return. I need to return. If we used TypeScript and had an interface and used the adapter pattern, we would have known that immediately. Like this would have been red saying you're not doing a return. So I do lean towards TypeScript a bit now. I do love TypeScript. So now that will work. Okay, the page is reloaded. There's no extra check. It's still showing the one from an hour ago because it didn't save it. But I think that will work now. The problem was this one in the list of checks. So this group by was going over each check and trying to pull out status. But this one had no return, so there was no status on there. Right, this time it's going to work. I was an 8 last time, but I am an 11 out of 10 this time. I don't know about all of you. Let me know in the chat what you think it's going to be. Should we hit run checks? Run check. And we got no error. And we got an extra item, good first issue. So before we look at the result of that, if I go back to the repo and back to the checks, you can see here that an hour ago we had, I should probably put a total of how many checks were done. Oh, it does. Here we go. Checks performed 6. And now we've got checks performed 7. And we've got the extra one is in the warning. So let's click on it and see. And we see good first issue is orange. So it did do the check. It's a warning. Try to add more issues with the label good first issue. Actually, we could actually be specific here. And I think I could change that message a bit. So in the warning one, which is this one, I'm actually going to try and add some numbers and be as specific as possible so people know. Try to add more issues with the label good first issue. I could say something like, you currently only have, and we could say issues.length. So that'd be 1. You currently only have 1 issue that is that has the label good first issue and is not already assigned. And I can delete that. So if I refresh that, it won't change it here because this is reading out the database, but I could perform an extra check just to make sure it works. If I do an extra check, you can see it's a bit small. I can make it a bit bigger. You currently only have 1 issue. There we go. So it's actually being specific, which I think is actually important. So when they go back in time, they can see specific. Let's go. 11 out of 10. Love it. Thank you so much, Bobo. Appreciate it. Little feedback on the video, if you don't mind. 4K or 4X DPI down to 180. Things are a bit small. Yeah, it should be in HD. I can make things a bit bigger. No, I love feedback. Thank you very much. I can make that bigger. Does that help? And I can make this bigger as well. Let me know if that's a bit better. I think streaming in 4K is, I don't know if StreamYard supports it. I'll have to check because I can. My camera is an 8K camera, so it's currently in 4K at the moment. But you don't care about me in 4K. You care about my screen in 4K. And I got a 5K screen, so it should be possible. But I think StreamYard reduces it to HD and doesn't have that 4K option. I'd have to use something like OBS, which is an option. I used to use it, but StreamYard just seemed a lot easier. So we've got that extra check. I like that. Are you happy with that? Should we? I can commit these in atomic commits later on. I can go back and do those. Cool. Glad that helps. Thank you so much for the feedback, Bob. I appreciate it. Okay. So we've got that extra check. We've been going for 30 minutes already. Okay. What other checks could we do? Let me tick that one off my list. So we said about the ones that we see in this page. Description we've done. README we don't. And I think in terms of README, I think there's different types of checks. Does it exist? And then it'd be nice to what Bob was suggesting earlier on to go into more detail and actually check. So does it have a quick start guide? Does it have, I don't know, certain things? Maybe we could do a regex on the file and see, but someone else might call it getting started rather than quick start guide. But I suppose we could check for multiple options on that. That's where AI, I think, will be helpful. But yeah, that's looking good, I think. Let's try different repo and see. Has anyone got any repos they can suggest? And I can try it. I mean, I can try another EdiHub one. Let's just see, get different results for those checks. So if I do maybe the good first issue finder on the EdiHub project, let's have a look. And if I add it, save. Okay, it's got a dash because it hasn't run any checks yet. Let me run a check. That's pretty quick. Good first issue error. So you can see the R's had a warning because I made a temporary issue. Issues are green. Activity is orange where mine was green. So you can see it's different. And then the badge for this, yeah. Why does it say not found? Oh, there we go. Needs to refresh. Error is 1. So that's got an error of 1, and the other repo has an error of 2. So it's got more checks. So it's pretty good. Should we just check out any other repos that we should check? Let me see in the chat. Yeah, when you're using LLMs, yeah, there might be an option. Let's do that and add this. Let's have a look. I probably need to put a limit as well because I think people could add like 100 repos and perform lots of checks. Should the checks be done on a scheduler? Maybe like every day, do a new check, get the new data and check it. So you can see this has also got 1 error, good first issues. Okay, otherwise it would have been the worst case would have been warning. Okay, using default branch is failing, but I'm pretty sure it's main for the default branch for that. Is main. So why is that a warning? Oh, we need to check that. Should we have a quick look? I can't remember. I wrote that ages ago. Default branch. If the default branch, wait a second, let me see, is main. So if it's default branch, you're using the recommended, no action required. It should be green. But warning, you're not using default branch. Oh, I think we got a bug. Why are we not? Why is, this is camel case and the other one did hyphenated. Oh, so I gotta keep the IDs consistent. I think that's the only one with 2 words. So actually I think hyphenated makes more sense. I'll change that. Doesn't affect anything at this stage. It just needs to be unique at the moment. Let's I should probably put a note in there as well, like ID, unique ID, use dash if needed. There we go. So therefore it's not camel case. But yeah, why should we just why is this default branch is main? It would be a string. It comes in as default branch, or does it? Should we check? Pretty sure it does. Default branch name, or just I could just, yeah, that's fine. I could have that recommended or something like that. We've got some more comments in the chat. Sorry, I missed those, Bob. That's a Fire add-on. Help automate the creation of good first issue of. Oh, I see what you mean. You don't need to have a README. I don't think I would let AI create issues for me, though. I don't think. I worry it might create too much noise. Yeah, scheduling so people can see is their repo getting better or worse over time, and maybe get notifications. Like if it gets worse, if you get an extra warning or error, maybe it just sends you an email and saying you do realize that you've kind of gone from bad to worse. That could be an option. So I need to solve this one first. Why? If I do a console log, let me do repo. If I just console log repo, and this will come out in the terminal. And let's just run that again. So if I go to my repos, I know HealthCheck is using main. If I run check, it's going to be very, very small, but I can make it bigger. This is the terminal of the running app. So we can see why. Hopefully that helps. And we can try and see, where's the code, or was it called default branch? Let's just check and see. Yeah, default branch main. So, and it's in the root of the response. Let me see. It's because owner isn't. I should probably put this in JSON format. It'll be a bit easier. Organization. Yeah, it's in the root. It's main. And we're saying main here. Why would... is it because it's always going to run this one? It shouldn't do. If it's not equal, then do that. Maybe I need a return in each of these because it could be causing an issue. That's an interesting style. Should I just do a return here? Return the response. I don't want to return two responses. So I don't mean return two responses. I mean have two lines of code that say return. I mean, could do something like that. Let's just go back and see if that changes anything. Okay, so got my repositories, go back to HealthCheck, and it said default branch is orange. So let me run the check again. Oh, it will cache the data though. So I will be using GitHub. That's fine because we don't need the new data. The data from GitHub is correct. If I run checks, default branch is green. I think it was, why would it be running in here and then also running into this if condition? Oh, I've got an extra not in front. That's the bug. I think that's it. Right, let me remove this. I didn't notice that. Right, okay, and let me remove this and then put it back here. Okay, we don't need the console log. Right, I think this is the bug. This is why you need automated testing, and I do have a live stream of Amanda on Sunday where we are going to be running automated testing. I set up the automated testing with Debbie from Playwright, who runs Microsoft, and we set it up. But now we need to set up the mock user so we can kind of log in and mock this data. So that was an interesting one. Let me see. That was super interesting. I didn't notice that bug. Okay, so now if I go back to my repos and I run it again, it should also be correct. Green, that is correct, perfect. And to prove that we just are not always going to be green, the BioDrop project at the moment is not using the default branch. It's archived. So let me bring up that. And let's put that in there, and that should be orange. So let's have a look. Everyone still with me? Still makes sense? And BioDrop, run checks. And you can see it's orange. So it is working, and we will have that covered by automated tests. Okay, perfect. Right, we fixed quite a few bugs today. New checks, fixed a bug. Whew, the pressure is on. Nice, okay. What else can we check? Let's have a look. If you're enjoying the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Cost you nothing and will support me. Okay. And have you starred the project? Have you got more stars on the project? Let's have a look. 26. We can hit 30 in this live stream. Hey, Emma, how you doing? Long time no see. I hope you're doing well. I'm back to the UK in August and September, so hopefully I will get to see you there. Should be good. Did I put the double on purpose? That was a mistake. I think originally I was checking if there wasn't a default branch. So I put the exclamation mark in front, like if it was an empty string. But then I added, then I thought, oh no, it's always going to have a default branch. So then I added this extra check, but I left a not at the beginning. And that was just, my mistake. So that was just very silly by me. So I love the warm welcome everyone gets when they join my live streams. Thank you everyone for welcoming everyone. That's awesome. Okay, so we've got that check done, right? Okay, we're good. How can we get that information, the insight information, community standards? So this is what we're using. We're using the OctoKit REST SDK for JavaScript. So I wonder... And they do mirror the GitHub API rather than going directly. So I wonder, I need some help to help me find this. It's not going to be in authentication. It's not going to be in formats, custom requests, pagination, hooks, custom endpoint, plugins, throttling, automatic retries, logging, debug, actions. We can check if they've got GitHub actions, but that's just something I was looking into. I think there's an extra check we can do. Are they using automation? Activity, what does activity get? Has, what else have we got? Checks, code scanning, code of conduct. That just lists the code of conduct rather than say if you've got one or not. I think we somehow need to get the files probably, but I wonder if we can get that insights information. That would be so good. Interactions, issues, markdown, meta. I think meta is for the whole of GitHub rather than meta for that project. Yes, it is. Packages, projects, rate, reactions, repos, search. I mean, we could also does your repo appear in search? That'd be so cool. Something we'll add later on. But repos, right? What have we got on repo? I wonder if we can get that. I have to try and see if we can get that. If I can search for insights. No, so it's not called insight. I wonder what they call it. Let me see if anyone's not something to solve in a live stream. What the AI stuff? No, definitely not. I don't think so. Well, maybe you're an expert. You've got compare to commit, create a commit. It's probably going to make a get, so maybe under like G or something, like list or get a repository. No. Get all deployments, list environments. No. Get topics, access, get branch protection. No. User permissions, get a commit, get a community profile metric. I don't know what that is. Get repository content. I mean, we could do the checks ourselves then, I suppose. Let me have a quick look at this one. What does this return? Gets the contents of a file. No, that's the actual content. This will work for the README stuff that Bob was talking about. Hey, Bjorn, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Great to see you using Flagsmith as well. Which project's that on, by the way? Is that on one of your open source projects or is that on a private project? I'd be curious to know. Okay, so did this scroll us back to the top? I think it did. So we came down to get repository content. Oh, you can get top referrals. There's statistics on the repository. I do want to capture that. That could be quite useful actually. Let me just have a quick look. Get page views, and there was. I wish they grouped these together a bit better. So get the total number of views breakdown per day, week for the last 14 days. So that could be quite good to capture that information, and we could do something with that because GitHub only keeps and shows you 2 weeks. So that could be quite interesting. The cogs are turning in my head. Do you think, what do you all think? Do you think the stats of a repository are useful? It's not yet open source. Okay, no worries. I was just curious, but glad you're using it. Let me know what you use it for. We're interested to know how you use it, because you can use it for, as you saw, for like strings or numbers, like limit, which we're going to use on this project. Limit how many checks you can do per day, but I want to make that number changeable without doing a redeployment or anything like that. So I'll be using Flagsmith for that. List branches. Maybe if they got too many branches, that could be a check. Ooh. That could be an interesting check. Like if they have like 20 branches, I think that's too many. So that could be an interesting check. Okay. So in the index, we do check for default branch, but I think we need to check how many branches. So here we've got issues. I think we've got branches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clone that, copy that, not clone it, copy it, and go branches. I don't know what we need to pass in yet, but I'm going to create a new check file, and we will go branches.js, and then in here we'll go export default function branches, and then I don't know what we're going to pass in yet. If we need the branches list, or if we can get the number of branches from the main repo JSON, we'll have to check that and see. And then what we can do is we could go minimum. Should there be a minimum branches? I would have thought maybe just a maximum. If you've got more than 5 branches, maybe that's too many. Just a warning. Maybe if there's more than like 15, it's like an error. So maybe there is a min max. So I don't know. Mins might be the wrong word. But if there's more than 10, maybe that's like max, and that's like an error. Something like that. What do you all think? Mustn't forget to return the response this time. Let me do that now so I don't forget. Response, this won't be a good first issue. This will be branches. Branches. Forget the href for the moment. Branches. And then we could do something like if, oh, we don't know what we're passing in yet. Let me go see where we can get this data from first. Booleans mostly, enabling, disabling. Yeah, it makes sense. I think that's how feature flags really started off. And you can always add identity, A/B testing as you pass in the identities as well. How many forks related to a project health, maybe? Yeah, could there be a comparison between stars? Like if there's a project that's got, I don't know, 100 forks, but only 5 stars, do we want to show a warning for that? Maybe? I don't know. Is there benefit in that? I don't want to show you need more stars to make the project better. I don't think there's value in that. I think it also saying you need more forks. I don't think there's value in that. But maybe if there's a comparison, would that help? A leaderboard. Yeah, true. I have got a page that I want to do. So if you look on the where is it? On the ad, it's disabled at the moment. You can't tick it, but private. So by default, I want to have like all repos, and I want to show the overall reports from all the repos. But then if people want to make them private, they can. So that's what I'm thinking about. So yeah, there'll be some sort of leaderboard. That's a really good one. I was calling it all repos, but leaderboard sounds so much better. I love that. Hey, Francesco, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. All the cool kids are here. Well, now that you're here, yeah, absolutely. The whole gang is here. Now add points to the health check for the leaderboard. Ooh, okay. Yeah, I like that idea. I don't know how we would do that, but I like the idea. Again, I love how everyone welcomes each other. That's awesome. It's so good. What are you working on at the moment, Francesco? And what do you think of my open source health check project? I know you've got some open source projects. We've only got a few checks at the moment. Whereas if I show you the latest one, we've got URL check, description, topics, activity, issues, default branch, and good first issue. Now we're going to add one for branches, make sure our project cleans up after them. They haven't got too many branches. I just need to check that we can get this data. Do I have this terminal? Yes, this is what we get by default. So if I go branch is URL, but by default branch, no, we don't get, you get the amount of forks and the stars and watchers, but you don't get the amount of branches. So you would have to make an extra request, probably to this URL to get it, maybe. I'd have to check. Let me see. We were in the documentation for here, and it says list branches. So I could get all the branches for the repo, and then I could just use that as a number. So that's an interesting one. I think that's good. What do you think? We're going for 45 minutes. I wanted to kind of keep the live stream around the hour mark. Can we do it in that time? I do not know. What do you think? What do you all think? Can we get that data from GitHub, save it, and then use it in the check in that time? Let's see. Yeah, awesome. I haven't deployed this yet. We'll deploy it next week. I'm trying to get some extra checks in first, because at the moment I was just setting up kind of, more the setup and the foundations, but the checks are very small. I have got like 20 checks that I think are really, really important. I mean, if you want me to try it on your repo now with the current checks, let me know. This will just be local, so the data I will delete the data as I kind of keep doing things. But let me know if you've want to share the path and repo name. So ignore the github.com. Actually, no, you can share the repo link in the chat. You're a mod in YouTube, so YouTube won't remove the URL. You can share it and we can plug it in and just see how it looks with the current checks. It'll be interesting. Thank you so much, Emma. I really appreciate it. It's great to see the support from the community. I'm just hoping we can help maintainers make their project better, so they can grow their projects. I'm trying to do a bit more from the maintainer perspective. I was always doing stuff from the community perspective, not community, contributor perspective. And I think I've got some experience being a maintainer and seeing so many different projects and the reviews I do. So I'm hoping I can do it some way into a report. Yeah, maybe it could email people if it does a check like once a day, and email people if suddenly you got like more errors or something like that for your repo. Like go check it out. So curious how badly mine stacks up. Bjorn, just share the name in the chat, like where it says github.com / just everything from the / onwards. So basically the owner and the repo, we can add it. Again, we need to add more checks. Hey Carl, how you doing? Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. Great to have you here. It's great to have everyone back together again. It's awesome. Yeah, I can check Links Hub. Could you pass me whatever the path is? That'd be great. 1, like the video. 2, go to this repo and star it. Yes, Francesco is correct as always. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Emma. Yeah, because I think I can help contributors if I help maintainers make the repos better. So rather than, I always used to kind of say, go find a good repo. You can do this, check for this, check for this. But what happens if we can make more repos friendlier and better? Then I think it will just make the searching easier and maybe not necessary. So, okay, necessary to some degree, but you don't have to search so hard and so much is my thinking. Thanks. Thank you all so much. Awesome. Love it. Wondering if org health check should count into the repo. Wonder if org health check should count in the repo health check. There could be an org health check later. And I thought of a GitHub profile health check as well. So that could come later on. So that's a really good suggestion. So yes, maybe raise some issues for those, and they won't get onto them now, but or maybe start a discussion, a GitHub discussion on the repo, and that just ideas for the future or something like that. Thanks, Emma. Okay, right. Let me see. I think we can get the data. Oh, let me plug in some repos first. Let me add. What have we got? Francesco, what's yours? GitHub, Francesco. Is this you, Francesco? There we go. There's Francesco. And what's your recent Rust crap? 344 stars already. Wowza. And you're going for 2 weeks. That's super impressive. Okay, so let's plug it in and let's see. Again, what we've got so far. We need to add some more checks. So what have we got? So these are the repos I've been testing with. Let's run the check and see. No errors. Amazing. That's like the best. If I go back to my list before we go into details, all the repos I've put in have got errors, and Francesco's is the best. So the worst case that Francesco has is a warning. I love that. So let's go find out. You've got 4 successes and 3 warnings. So the warnings are topics. This is clickable, but doesn't actually go anywhere yet. I want to add, you click it and you get more information. But you have too many topics. Try reducing the amount of your topics. Again, I picked a number for that. I don't know if that's correct. Let's look at the repo. Maybe that isn't too many. So maybe I need to increase the number of the warning. I would say any more than that would probably be too much, but I think that's probably a good number. So again, we need tweaking on these sorts of things. Issues, you have some open issues. So how many do you have? 13. Again, I can't remember what numbers I put for that. I'll need to check. Let's have a look. Issues. So we put minimum of 5, maximum of 20. Why is yours a warning? Oh, because yours is between. Okay, so if it's below 5, it would be red. Did my camera just turn off? I think my camera just died. No, it's a new camera. Why did it die? Hopefully I can get it back. Yeah, it's back. For me anyway. Let's see if StreamYard picks it up. Oh, I know why. I didn't plug in the power. I'm using the battery instead of the power cable. What an idiot I am. Oh, well, the live stream's coming to an end in a moment. So, but having open issues is fine. Let me see. No idea how I made it. Oh, I've missed some chat. Let me see. Awesome. Okay, we've got some repos. I'll come back to those in a second. No, that is awesome. You've done great, and that's really, really cool. Yeah, now open issues, having open issues is fine. No, we want open issues. That is definitely fine. Let me just remove my camera because it's not there. Having open issues is fine, but I think it's suggesting to have more. I think having more than 20 is better, is what I was suggesting. Maybe that isn't the case. Maybe it should be a lower number. So it gave you a warning because you've got more than 5, so that's not less than 5 would be a red, and then between 5 and 20 would be an orange, and above 20 would be a green. Again, I don't know if 20 is a good number. I'm going to have to just play with it and see. I think I need to move these numbers to Flagsmith so I don't have to redeploy every time, and I can just tweak these numbers. This is Jason, but as an example, I could just have another one that is, I could say I could prepend it, like prepend all of them with checks. This could be issues. And then it could be, it could be JSON as well, or an object. I could say minimum, and then, max, minimum, a number, and then maximum. And then therefore I could just change this. I could just change it to 15 rather than having to redeploy the code. So that's something I probably want to move towards as well. So yes, so take this with a pinch of salt. I'm getting it more working rather than exact numbers for the moment. So yeah, again, that's questionable. Oh, I clicked it by mistake. That page doesn't go anywhere. And the good first issues. So it's saying you currently only have one issue with a label good first issue and not assigned. Let's just check that and see. So if we click on it, we go to good first issue, and yeah, you've got 3, but 2 are assigned. You've only got 1. And what we're suggesting is you have a minimum of 3. So that's the suggestion. Again, I don't know if 3 is a good number or not. We need to see and check and have a look. Eddie fails. Yeah, no camera. That's okay. Probably everyone will concentrate more on the what do you call it, on the code now, not me. There's 101 or so likely on my repo. Okay, let's try a few more repos. Let's have a look. So what have we got? So let me scroll up on the chat. What did I miss? How many stars have we got on this repo now? Did we hit 30? Let me check. 28. Okay, almost 30. Let's keep going. So I'll do it in order in the chat. We had, whose did we have next? I think we had Bjorn's next. I can't copy, so I'll have to type it out. I can't copy from StreamYard, unfortunately. So it's API bents issues. Let's have a look. Again, like I said, take these numbers with a pinch of salt. They need tweaking and improving. So this is just click on it. No results yet. So let's run the check. Oh, wow, looks good. 5 successes. Topics is suggesting you have too many. Do you? Maybe I need to adjust it. I would say that's 1 line too many, in my personal opinion, but it's just a personal opinion. And the default branch isn't main. So yeah, you could have full house of 7 greens if you probably removed 1 line of this and used the default branch of main. But yeah, no, that looks good. I like it. It's great to see the different projects. Okay, who else have we got next? I missed Rajnesh's one. Did I? Where is it? Could you share it again? I'm scrolling up through the chat and I can't see it. Could you just check it again? Share it again, please. Not the link. YouTube will remove it. That's why I can't see it. I think. Just share everything after the .com, the path. Hit like Bjorn's done here, just like that. Can you do Signal wire free switch. What's that? Oh, that's the repo. I thought you were like using the forward slash as an or rather than a project. Oh my God, it's time for me to get a drink. I'm glad the camera's not on because then, the camera died because then I'd look like a silly sausage. Free switch. Hope I typed that right. Okay. Is this your project? Somebody else's? Let's have a look. Again, I will have to run these when I add more checks and improve them. Let's see. Run checks. Oh, one error. No good first issue. Okay. Yeah, tried, no problem. Can you share the path, please, Rajnesh? I will do it, but I need the path. Default world not be made. I'm surprised. Yeah, most project. Any reason why you're not? I don't know why I keep looking in the camera. It's not on. Any reason why you're not using main for that? I think you said to me before, but I forget. Sorry, my memory is terrible. Oh, the one was what community voted for. Yeah, I just think the main is default, I suppose. But here we go. You've shared it. Perfect. Right. Let me type it in. I can't wait to do these repos when we've got like proper checks. Like loads more checks because I've got, like I said, a list of over 20 that I want to add, and with everyone's input, I'm sure we could get like 30 or 40. Okay, links hub, run the check, no errors, awesome. Description might be too long. Let's have a look at the description. Yeah, maybe I need to extend my numbers a bit. I think that's probably okay, bordering the maximum of what I would personally suggest. And need some more open issues. You have 12, so it's orange. And there's no good first issues. So otherwise, yeah, it looks okay. It's your project. Oh, nice. I need to look into that. That was popular. Signal wire free switch. Oh, is it my project? I don't know. I was curious. Looks good. Very impressive. No, it's one of my favorite open source projects. Okay, cool. Yeah, so that's have we reached 30 stars yet? 28. Come on. Give it a star. See if we can trend on GitHub. Yeah, so that is not that one, that tab. I've got too many tabs open. That is I need to update this screenshot. It's got an old screenshot. That is what we've got. I probably need a page to list all the checks so people know what the checks are. That could be quite an interesting one as well. But yeah, I want another check. I got 2 errors on mine to fix. No URL hasn't been deployed. It will be fixed next week. This is for the actual HealthCheck repo itself. Eat your own dog food. And then issues. I need to open some more issues, and then with good first issues as well. Thank you so much, Rajesh. I really appreciate it. To complete the 3 stars, awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, no errors. Cool. Wow, what an awesome live stream. I'm sorry about the camera going off about 10 minutes ago. We've been going for just over an hour. I started a few minutes early, and it's been absolutely amazing to geek out with you. Any ideas you have, do start a discussion on the repo. It would be great to see what ideas and checks you would recommend. I will try and do the branches one today as well. I think that would be good, and I can then commit and push these up. And we'll get this deployed next week so people can start using it. But I do think we need some limits. I do worry that people might add like hundreds of repos and then also do like hundreds of checks over and over again. So I do need to put some limits in, I think, just to save my database and the costs. So, and a big shout out to Flagsmith for supporting this project. I really appreciate them. And it's great to use their feature flags. And like I said, you can control the limits. So we could have a standard limit, could maybe be 10 repos. Do you think 10 repos is a good number? And then maybe for premium users, although I'm not going to have a payment system, I don't think, for this. Or I like to practice that using some new tools. I think it's lemon squeezy people are talking about at the moment. But I don't think I'm going to get time to do that. I want to add more effort on the checks. But I could just have premium accounts, and people who are the maintainers can get premium accounts, and then maybe have, I don't know, 100 repos that they could add or something like that. So yeah, just some thoughts I need to do around that. Yeah, so many ideas. I look forward to all your great feedback, everyone. Great intro to the project, fun stream. Thank you so much for your support, everyone. I really appreciate it. You've all been absolutely amazing. It's always great to geek out with you. And if anyone wants to pair with me on a live stream on this project, or you want to, I could do some green squares, some screen shares as well. Let me know. But I think pairing on a live stream would be good fun, or we could pair on a Discord call as well. Let me know. But any feedback, suggestions, let me know in the repo, and feel free to start some discussions. Discord is great, but things get lost. I'm quite liking GitHub discussions so things don't get lost. So yes, everyone have a great day, and thanks again for joining. Really, really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday and week. I'm waving at the camera, but the camera's off, so it makes no sense. Bye, everyone.